Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Matías Rebolledo y estamos aquí en Kinótico, en este set patrocinado por Repsol, dentro del Hotel María Cristina, en el que os vamos a contar todo de la edición número 73 del Cinema al Día. Hoy abrimos aquí también espacio para la sección oficial, para la sección reina, para la sección más importante de este Festival de San Sebastián, con el equipo de Ungrateful Beings. Let me welcome you, Mr. Ward, to our set. How are you doing today?
Thank you for the welcome. I'm doing really well.
Mr. Director, Olmo Omerzu, that's right?
Yeah, that's right. Olmo Omerzu, yes.
Thank you so much for being here. And Barbora Bobulova, how are you doing today?
Hi, fine. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. I'm going to start with Olmo. The very first one is a very obvious one, but I wanted to ask you, how and when did you start to work on the film?
Actually, a few years ago, and the beginning was a bit abstract in a sense of that I didn't know where the story will go or what will be the main topic of the film. Usually I'm just like writing down the ideas and then I'm waiting for a moment that I realize if or which ideas are kind of connected to each other. And then I realized that probably the main question in the film it's actually about how far are parents capable to go to save their daughter's life or their child's life. And then a lot of other things were kind of connected to that, and we start writing the screenplay.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask Barbora, how was your first reaction when you read the whole script? Without giving too much, but how was your very first reaction when you got the final script? If you have it.
No, I just love the story. I said, "Oh my God, yeah!" I really like the script, and whole evolution of this story, and about this miscommunication between parents and children, which is something one of the most biggest problem today. Me too. I am a mother of two kids, of two daughters. I have two daughters, so that's why probably the story was so close to me, and I really wanted to do that, and I'm very happy that Olmo called me to play mother.
Barry, how do you relate with fatherhood? How do you relate with the whole film?
Well, my initial response, because I believed that Olmo had given it to me to check on the translation. so I read it and thought, yeah, this is a good translation. I can see room for improvement. Because it was originally a Czech, an entirely Czech script. So I was given this English version. So I was reading it through those eyes. Now, as I turned the page, I thought, wow, this is a very gripping story, and I can totally relate to all of these people. So I was more than thrilled when Olmo said, "No, it's not just for you to read the translation. I want you to play David."
Wow. So, Olmo, I wanted to ask you about the multilingual factor of the film. I'm not going to ask you why, but how does help you tell the story that you wanted to tell?
Because there is a interesting idea, I think, behind that we are establishing the story of a broken family, that it's broken in their language as well. And there is also, because it's before the film starts, there was a separation of a family. And for me, it was interesting how they are separated in languages as well. And we were a lot of talking about what does it mean, like a mother tongue or father tongue, or what actually are, in what situation are kids in this film, or in what situation is father in this film. And then we find the interesting idea that father starts speaking a Czech language when he's trying to be closer to his children. That actually this is something like that the language becomes an instrument of getting closer or getting more intimate to the child. And on the other hand, you know, I'm Slovenian and I went studying to Czech Republic and I stayed there. I'm shooting films mostly in Czech language. Mm-hmm. And this is also something that, like, the topic of being a foreigner or accepting a new language as your first one or second one. This is something that is very personal for me as well. So I could put all these topics in the film.
I wanted to ask you that because of course, the universal value of the film and the films, and it tackles very contemporary issues. So I wanted to ask you, how do you think that the audience will relate to that, will respond to that? Because nowadays in this so polarized world, everything is I love it or I hate it. So this movie that deals with something complex, do you think it's going to be well received by people, or do you expect to? I hope so.
This is such this is not a grateful this is such an ungrateful question.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Because we have a premiere in a few hours, and this time I wasn't really doing a lot of screening of that film. I was while we were closing the editing with Jaroslav Kamiński, we were sending the versions of the edit to a lot of people, and I was curious about their opinion, but I kind of avoid this massive response, or this kind of a test screenings. Because sometimes I think it doesn't really work so well. So I'm super curious how the response will be today in front of so many people that are attending the main competition screening. So I think that we all are very
very excited about.
I don't know what are your expectations about the
Please
opinion.
feel free to join.
But I just wanted to say one thing, that probably we all agree that the film a bit tackles some moral provocation in the film, and even when I was writing it, I don't agree with behavior of our main characters, but at the same time I totally understand their despair and why they are doing, and there is a certain empathy in my approach to it, but also kind of uneasy or something that it's unsettled, because they are not really a perfect parents, I would say.
Well, but I think that's a way to make a film. You're not so sure of yourself that you are going to do the greatest movie ever. I think that you are in the right way in order to find the right movie. I wanted to ask you, Barry and Barbara, about their presence here in San Sebastián, because we are here in a festival that is fully supporting, for example, demonstrations against the genocide in Palestine, and it's very a very political festival. So I wanted to ask you, how was your impression with that, with all the people wearing Palestinian flags and massive demonstration in the street? Did you expect that? Did you expect that this was going to be a very political? I'm not asking you your opinion on that, but how did you respond on that feeling?
I'm happy if people demonstrate for Palestinian people, and I really feel I admire those people who put themselves to the sea and trying to bring some humanity to that part of the world where humanity seems like to be gone completely. So I hope we shouldn't turn away from the problem, because I think that Palestinian people deserves the attention of all over the world. That's what I think.
Thank you for that. Did you want to?
Yeah, it's seeing people with flags and badges is for all the good or change it's doing is still a far sight better than that being banned. To have a festival where nobody's allowed to talk about these things at all, that's a scarier world.
Yeah, the silence would be I couldn't imagine that, because we all are doing films that should tackle important questions, so the festivals are platforms for that kind of questions, and if you put the ban there of not openly saying your own opinions, that's a censorship and very weird state.
Olmo, I wanted to ask you, you're here about being in the festival, but in cinema terms, you're here in competition alongside names like Agnieszka Holland, Claire Denis. What does it mean for you as a director to be there?
it's a great feeling because, like for example, Claire Denis or Arnaud Desplechin or Agnieszka Holland, these are directors that influenced me a lot. So it's really nice to be among them. It's not about to compete with them. It's about like being in such a interesting group of very interesting directors.
We're here asking, or the very best talent, national and internationally. We have a partnership with Filming, which is a streaming platform. They do care about independent cinema. So they are turning 18 this year, and they are asking us to ask you, if you were 18 today, what movie would you recommend yourselves? It's a very difficult one, but if anyone can name a title, that would be great.
If we were 18 today, what movies would we tell our 18-year-old selves to watch?
Yeah.
I think I did it pretty well the first time round when I was 18 in real life, and I was watching similar films that I watch today. A lot of Ken Loach, a lot of social realism, movies that I deem important. The bigger question is, are there that many similarly strong movies being made today? And I'd have to say probably no, unfortunately.
Well, that's a shame. Olmo, Barbora, if you want to join in with your answers.
Very, very hard question. I mean, there are so many films that I would recommend. When I was 18, I mean, I grew up on films like Jaws, Rain Man, and a lot of musical, Dirty Dancing, and Alien was my favorite, with Sigourney Weaver, and I imagined myself to be in that part all the time, and I still do.
Is that why you shaved your head?
To be Ripley, right?
Yeah, but Alien first was it's what was my favorite. I don't know. I mean, it's very difficult. So what I would recommend, God,
I'm really sorry this
I
year.
have to think about it.
Olmo,
To choose one.
did you just?
Actually, similar as Barry said, like when I was 18 years old, it wasn't really. I loved the same films than I do now. Like when I was 13 years old, it was a bit different situation. But like at 13 years old, it was just Tarantino. I was obsessed with American indie cinema at that time. But 18, I think Ken Loach Cass. Terence Davis Long Day Closes. I already was a big fan of John Cassavetes at the time, because it's like when I was 18 years old, I was on it was first year of my studies at FAMU, so yeah, I was already in a serious films.
Did you have time, Barbara, to think a child?
Yes, but you know, having two children of 18 years old, I mean, each time I say a film, they're not going to see it. So probably that's why I can't do that, because
Nanni Moretti.
Nanni Moretti, of course, yeah. But my daughters, if I suggest something, of course they're going to do the contrary. So that's the problem of 18 years old, you know.
That's the age to do it, right?
That's you can't suggest. I mean,
Tell them to watch Superman and Wonder Woman, and then they might watch our movies.
They will watch Bergman.
So, Barry, Olmo, Barbara, thank you so much for your time today.
Gracias.
And let's
Thank
hope
you
the
for
best
inviting
for the
us.
film.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nosotros, ya sabéis, vamos a seguir aquí en Kinótico contando todo lo que ocurra en este Festival de San Sebastián, desde este set patrocinado por Repsol en la 73 edición del Cinemaldia. Muchas gracias por seguirnos y ya sabéis que va a estar todo en kinótico.es, la primera con K, la segunda con C.